Food prepping Sunday, and I love making egg muffins. Some people call them egg cups. They are so easy. I just crack 12 eggs, add some salt and pepper, I'll whisk them up till they're all blended, and then I pour them in 12 muffin cups, 12 eggs for 12 cups. Each one is one egg. Pretty easy. And in this case, I sliced up tomatoes and I laid them in there flat, and I found it was funny. They kind of came to the top, but then they look really pretty. And then I chopped up a whole bunch of fresh spinach and put it in there. And then there's some feta cheese. Some of the feta cheese came to the top. You see, it's melted creamy on top of a few of them. I love how each one is different, and I kind of look through them to decide which one is the perfect one. You know, that would be that one that the professionals take a photo of, and that's what they would share with you. But I'm sharing them all with you because they're all individual. And hey, I can put them in the freezer in little snack baggies and pull out one for a meal whenever I want one. I made some delicious chicken noodle soup with spinach and carrots. And you're going to see a theme here. Last week I sent my husband to the store and I had spinach on the list, and we usually get just a handful from the bin, but he bought me a large thing of spinach, so I can't waste it. So I'm trying to figure out how to use it. Often my food prep is related to trying to get rid of what's in my cabinets before it spoils. So we had some chicken already cooked up just from a couple days ago, and put some of that in it. I always keep these on hand. They're great. You may remember many videos ago I had some green tomatoes from my garden last summer, and I made some tomato stock, I guess. I put that in there as well, finished that off. It had been in the freezer. I had a partially used bag of wide noodles, and so I wanted to finish that off. You know, I wanted to do tortellini, but sometimes I have to just use what I have in my kitchen. That's kind of how I cook, trying to use up stuff. It's going to go in this big jar and go in the refrigerator to be eaten. Since I put carrots in it, I cut up the rest of my carrots for food prep. It's not fitting in my jar, so I'll have to get out another jar. But, you know, food prep is, as I've said many times before, is basically having the stuff cut up so that you can reach in and use it. Because if I don't peel and cut up my carrots, I never use them. If they're peeled and cut up in jars, I can throw them in my food during the week. I can add them as a side. I can snack on them with dressing in the evening. So anyway, and yeah, my husband, I asked him to get me baby Bella mushrooms, and he bought the big package of them. He buys everything big, and I had onions. I thought he'd get me a package of the small onions, you know, 5 small ones in there. I had such a huge onion. He buys everything big. So this is one onion in here, and I have to make that before it goes bad as well. I love onions and mushrooms. These are just getting started. I just saute them down in olive oil. That's all I do. And then I can use them in so many ways. The mushrooms and onions are cooking down very nicely. They look so good. They'll just go with anything. They can go in rice. They can go as a side or on top of meat. They can go in sandwiches. And I wanted to show you this liquid aminos. I had a program at the library I was watching, and they told me about this. It's an alternative to soy sauce, and it is so good. It still has, a lot of salt in it, so you use it in moderation, but it's so good in just a few shakes in here, and it's good in rice. It's good in lots of things. And so, speaking of rice, I have some rice. I love jasmine rice. That's what I usually get. I've got it started here. Chicken noodle soup didn't quite all fit in the jar, so I'm having lunch. Oh my gosh, it is so good. And earlier I just seared off roast. It was a small roast in a cast iron skillet with, salt and pepper, a little bit of olive oil, and then I stuck the whole cast iron skillet in the oven. It just came out. Oh my gosh, it's so tender and so good. Don't ask me for how long I cooked it. I have no idea. And I cut up broccoli. As I said, food prep is mainly just having the stuff ready to go. And I love having jars of cut up broccoli. I can put one of these jars in the microwave and put some cheese sauce on it and have that as my side or even my whole meal. Of course, it's great as a side, or it's great for rice dishes, or just, I don't know, impromptu, all sorts of things I stick it in. The mushrooms and onions are really good. They're in their food prep container, ready for the refrigerator. The rice is done, and I'm playing. I don't know what I'm doing, but I put some butter and a bunch of garlic cloves and the rest of the spinach in here, and I'm cooking down the spinach. This was 1 cup of dried rice, and these are 2-cup containers. Isn't that crazy how much it expands? I didn't know if hubby would eat the spinach one, so I put half of it in regular. That can be used, I'm thinking later in the week, like cutting up some of that roast with rice in a beef stock, and just some of the carrots and whatever else. And then in mine, I can add onions or the mushrooms and onions, and leave that out of hubby's because he doesn't like it. And anyway, so many things you can do with that rice. But I'm kind of impressed with myself. After I cooked down that spinach and garlic and butter, I just put it on my cutting board and I just chop, 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 and then I mixed it into the other half of the rice. Oh my gosh, I did add a little salt, but it is so good. It even looks good. I'm impressed with myself. I had no idea I could do that. And I had a pear that was getting very old. I had some blackberries that I had intended on eating with oatmeal and didn't, so they needed to be used up. And then I also had some very ripe bananas. And so I just took a muffin recipe. I substituted a little bit of whole wheat flour for the regular flour. I substituted some ghee for some butter and put in all that fruit, and they actually turned out very, very good. They don't look as good as they taste, but they taste very good, and I can't stop eating them.